The European Nats are officially over, and I got some details for you that you're not going to want to miss. Some crazy game losses that we're just going to kind of flash over real quick. And we're going to talk about some possible deck profiles, tech choices, and just how overall felt about the tournament. So make sure to subscribe to the channel, and let's dive into the 2023 European Nats review.
House of Cards.
TCG.
So Rika Sun Avalon takes the Euro Nats. And here's what I have to say about that. How is it in 2023? I've piloted Sun Avalon when it got its support at the Hartford YCS a couple years ago, whenever it was. This deck has been topping the Euros nonstop. How is it that in the finals of the European Nats, you still don't know what Rika Sun Avalon does? It is mind-boggling to me. You got saved at the end of game one because game one, you think that if you have Dark Arm Dragon up, right? And if you go Dark Arm Dragon, you destroyed the Glamour that was set, but you left the Con up, and you thought that maybe a Zeus was better instead of Glamour, instead of Dark Arm Dragon popping Con. Not realizing that if Jessica top decks any Rika card, any Glamour card, they're just going to tribute your Zeus anyway because you left Con on the field. So you decided to go for a Zeus play to get an extra wipe when instead of Dark Arm popping the Con, so then you could just go ahead and deal with it. So then if they top deck any Rika, any Glamour, you're cooked. They just tribute your Zeus for cost. You don't even have a chance to activate the effect. But you know what? You were saved in game one. And Christian, this is no shot at you. I'm just saying, I don't understand it. And maybe Jessica, you're a great player, so this is great. So like, game one, you were saved, you end up winning. That's fine. But then you go into game three, and I don't know if you're aware or not, but when we go into time on game three, there's a card, and it's called Red Eye's Flare Metal Dragon. And what Flare Metal Dragon does, it's in every Cashier extra deck, so I know that you play it, is anytime your opponent activates a monster effect, you can burn them. So when you're in time, you can just go Flare Metal Dragon, and then you can go ahead and when they can't summon Petal back, because it has to activate to summon back, and they can't activate any monster effect. You know the deck wins in time by healer. You know this. The other thing is that Sowing would actually lose them a game, because if they activate Sowing, they have to take the cost. And then so they wouldn't have a chance to activate Dryas to gain that life back. So they can't activate Sowing, because then they would lose the game, the whole match, right? And you have Flare Metal Dragon to control the game. They can't activate any monster effect. So even though you threw by not realizing that you can't attack Dryas directly because they set you up, they put a Link with a 0 attack. Do you think that she would just leave a Link 1 with 0 attack on the field for you to attack freely and win the game? No. How do you not know that you can't attack Dryas? So then you can't attack Mudan. And then on top of that, you grab Enemy Controller over Valor. When Valor can stop Dryas, can stop Healer from gaining, you decide to grab Enemy Controller. It's just insane to me that in 2023, we still don't know how to play against Rika Sun Avalon. It's just mind-boggling to me. There's so many misplays in that game that I just want to focus on, that I just want to bring to you to say that, Jessica, you deserve that game. You played out your mind and your hand. Game 2 was cracked. Thrust, Small World, I can't even remember. It was so cracked. But great plays. Again, Christian, you got to learn how to beat Rika Sun Avalon. Then you're going to see the deck. It's just crazy. There was a lot of misplays there. Also, speaking about misplays, there was so many game losses given that decided matches in top 64 and down, which were the result of misplays. And it actually is insane to me that people are misplaying on featured matches in top 64 of Nats that are resulting in game losses, meaning that they already had a minor from the previous rounds, resulting in them getting a game loss. In top 64, we had a illegal Quad Burrow summon, because Quad Burrow needs a rocket monster to summon, and so we took a Pisty and a Striker Dragon, and we summoned a Quad Burrow. And then Quad Burrow also locks you into Link 2 or higher, I think Link to a higher Link monster or lower. So you're locked, and then you go into Synchro Summoning. Like, you're playing Dragon Link. Dragon Link has been around for so long. Quad Burrow is so old. We played that in 60-card Dragon Link. And somehow, we forget that Quad Burrow, and I understand it's day 2, you're tired. I play events, I play Nats, YC, I get it, right? But somehow, we're summoning Quad Burrow, not using a rocket, and then we're Synchro Summoning after we use the effect, which caused you to lose the top 64. I'll be honest, top 32, there could have been a misplay that resulted in a game loss. I didn't watch it. It was Mathmech versus Pearly. I didn't care, so I didn't really watch it. In the top 16, we had a Fur Hire card activated to tribute the sprite to deal with a Gozen match, and we had Imperm, or we had Ash and Bell in hand, I think it was. We were winning that game. We were beating the Labyrinth player in the grind match because we had answers to their non-existent Labyrinth engine that was going on, and we mistakenly activated a Runic card to tribute the sprite to try to special summon. We didn't have a legal target to special summon, and so they gave us a game loss, and the Labyrinth player ended up winning. It's insane that we did that, and it cost us the match that we were going to win. You would have won. You would have gone into the top 8. And then, going into it, we had a Mud Dragon that was summoned off of a Cartasia. So, the opponent goes to then use the Cartasia effect, and then they something happened, and there's interaction, there was comboing going on, and then we used the Sornier, and we used the Aluber that was on the field to bring out a Mud Dragon, but Cartasia says level 8 or higher. Guess what happened? Game lost, because there was already a P minor established on that field. So in the top 64, in the top 16, and the top 8, we had the matches decided by game losses. Come on. That's crazy. This is supposed to be the Nats. This is the chance to go to Japan to play in the Worlds. It's crazy that this is happening. It happened 3 times on feature matches. It's mind-blowing to me to see that level happening, and I'm just pointing it out because I'm actually just floored by it, and I think it's going to be a big talking point about these European nationals, obviously. Quick segment in the middle of editing. I don't know what's going on with my mic, but we're going to run with it because I've already recorded these videos. And also, I forgot to mention, we had our big Nats moment, which is when Jessica pulled off a Dinkaboom moment when he eradicated her for 5 cards, and she won top 4 by activating a Harpy's Feather Duster, wiping for 5 cards against Labyrinth. Yo, that was crazy. Anyways, I don't know what's up with my mic. I appreciate everybody for watching. I forgot to mention that. I want to bring it up. Anyway, let's continue with the video. So, obviously, you know, like we said, Rika Sun Avalon winning basically because our Kashtira opponent did not understand how to play against the deck, and it's unfortunate, but let's go ahead and dive into our top 64 so we can check it out. These were given by the stream. The math doesn't add up because 30% Kashtira comes out to 19.2. So I don't know how there was 19.2 decks and how that became 30%. But anyway, we're going to roll with it. So top 64, we have 30% Kashtira. Obviously, Kashtira still being a huge representation. We had 16% being Dragon Link, 11% being Runic, 9% Fluundereeze, which I hate to see because that is my absolute mortal deck. I can't stand the deck. But we know that Fluundereeze is going to be good. 8% Rika and 8% Branded. It's kind of crazy because if you think about it, with Kashtira and with Fluundereeze being in the big representation, almost half, it's goes to show you, do you main D-Shifter? Do you not main D-Shifter? Because obviously over almost half the decks are immune to Dimension Shifter. So if Dimension Shifter becomes a side deck card, that's good for Dragon Link, that's good for Runic, that's good for Rika, who actually can't play under Dimensional Shifter. So that's something to think about. But out of these top decks, Droll is also a really good card. So we're going to see Droll become more main decked when we go into the North American World Championship qualifiers. That is also something that we got to talk about. So to check real quick on that, and then heading into the top 4. So in the top 4, we did have 2 Kashtira, a Rika Sun Avalon, and a Labyrinth make it to the top 4. But I think the big thing here is going to be how our Kashtira player does not understand how to beat Rika Sun Avalon when you're going into a Nats. Wild to me that in 2023 we still don't know how to beat Rika Sun Avalon, but I'm going to stop harping on that. And I have 2 deck profiles for you that I want to bring in, and one is Fluundereeze, the other is the Earth Machine, and then we're going to sign out of here. But I hope that you got to enjoy this. There was some really good plays here. It's nothing surprising. No deck list came out of nowhere that just, except for the Earth Machine, but it was pretty much expected Nats as far as the decks and techs go. I didn't see much surprise when it came to techs, except Lord of Heavenly Prison being main decked in the Labyrinth decks. And that was kind of surprising to me, considering that Cosmic is pretty big, but I guess everybody fears Harpy Feather Duster that some people were main decking. So that is something to think about, but there was nothing really surprising about this Nats, except what I've already talked about. So I'll show you these 2 deck profiles and consider subscribing to the channel. And the European Nats is officially over, and Shane and I head on into the North American Nats where you'll catch us at, so expect to see us there. And let's go check out these deck profiles. All right, and in top 64, we have a Floowandereeze deck profile. If anybody knows me, this is my worst nightmare, my nemesis. I can't stand Floowandereeze. I feel like Harpy's Featherstorm should have been banned. That's me personally. But getting into it, this top 64 Floowandereeze deck profile. We have 3 Robina, 3 Eagle, 2 Toucan, pretty much standard 1 Stree, 3 Impin, 1 of the Reza Mega Monarch, which is obviously really good, 1 of the Apex Avion, standard stuff here, 3 of the Advent Adventure, 3 of the Magnificent Map, 3 of the Unexplored Winds, 2 of the Trap, and then we have 3 Pot of Prosperity, 3 Duality, 2 Extravagance, 1 Jack in the Hand, obviously to get you to Robina, Terraforming, Harpy Feather Duster in the main, Dark Ruler no more, and then a Book of Eclipse, triple Book of Eclipse, obviously. Pretty much your standard Floowandereeze stuff. In the extra deck, we see a Anima, an Almirage, interestingly enough, a Codebreaker, Virus Swordsman. This card says, when this card is special summoned, if it is co-linked, you can special summon 1 Codebreaker 0 day from your hand, deck, or graveyard to any zone this monster points to. During the end phase, if this card is in your graveyard because it was destroyed, while in your possession by an opponent's card and sit there this turn, you can special summon this card but banish it when it leaves the field. No clue what this card does and why it's even in the deck. Then we have a Nightmare Phoenix, a Nightmare Unicorn, Blackluster Soldier, Underworld Goddess, 2 Downer Magician, 2 Nightingales, 2 Zeus, and then your OTK package of Super Dreadnought, Gustav Max, and the Libby. In the side deck, we have 3 Shifter, 3 Ash. We have the Dark Simorgh, which is obviously so your opponent cannot set cards. Then we have 2 Cosmic Cyclones, My Worst Fear, Harpy Featherstorm at 3, and then 3 Grave of the Super Ancient Organism. And this is your top 64 Floowandereeze. Alright, and we have a top 16 Earth Machine deck. Super excited to show you this because this is an actual surprise that came out of the European Nats. I just think that people are surprised by, you know, Earth Machines. I would not expect to play Earth Machines if I was even at the top table at Nats. But it goes to show you that this deck obviously piloted very well. I don't see anything in this deck that's been changed, that's been added to increase this made this deck better from other lists that I've seen and I've played against, because one of our guys at our locals, he likes to play Earth Machines. So there's nothing in here for support that I've seen, but let's go over this Earth Machine deck list. So we have 3 of the Machina Gear Frame. We have 1 of the Machina p.u.n.k. That is one card that I'm not familiar with and haven't seen. We have 1 Ruin Force. We have 1 of the Citadels. We have 1 of the Fortress. We have 3 of the Infotrak Harvesters. We have 1 of the Brutal Dozer, 2 of the Trenchers, 1 of the Tunneler, 1 of the Ancient Gearbox, and then to the trains, we have 1 of the Heavy Freight Train, and then we have 1 of the Bullet Train. He was playing 2 Regulus, then we have 3 of the Machina Redeployment, we have 3 of the Heavy Forward, 3 of the Urgent Schedule, and then we have 1 of the Machina Overdrive. So obviously it's a very heavy engine. It's nice to see Earth Machines just being piloted like this. I know that when it was featured on that match, it was just crazy. I couldn't believe that we were actually looking at Earth Machine in 2023, but that goes to show you the way this format is set up. It's actually a beautiful thing, and I love to see it. For hand traps, we have 3 Ash Blossom, 3 Imperm. For going second cards, we have 3 Book of Eclipse and 2 Talents and 1 Call by the Grave. Kind of crazy. He said that Talents is actually insane because you can take an Arise Heart, and Arise Heart is a machine, and that pairs well with this deck. So if you actually take the Arise Heart, there's things that you can do because Arise Heart is a machine. For the extra deck, we have 3 of the Infotrak Goliath, 1 of the Ballista, 1 Platinum Gadget, 1 of the Qualifier Genius, 1 of the Angry Knuckle, 1 Gear Giant X, 1 of the River Stormer, 1 of the Phantom Fortress, 1 of the Earth Slicer, 1 of the Super Dora, 1 of the Libby, 1 of the Gustav Max, and 1 Zeus, which is a Unicorn Nightmare, obviously, because any of these can get ripped. But I know that Infotrak Goliath is basically the heart and soul of this deck. And then going into the side deck, we have 3 of the Machine Kaiju. We have 3 Drillin' Lockbirds, 2 Lightning Storm, 1 Harpy Feather Duster, 3 Gozen Match, which I think Gozen Match might actually be a problem in this format, considering that if it hits Vanquish Soul, it can hit Branded, it can hit the Kashtira decks, it can hit Dragon Link sometimes, now featuring more lights, so Gozen Match could be a sleeper this format. And then we have 3 Evenly Match, rounding up a top 16 Earth Machine deck profile.
House of Cards.